They're all interested in the media. You know, years ago, the Google guys and Eric Schmidt were going to buy the New York Times. We're going to make that investment that Carlos Slim made and stuff like that. So this has always been of interest to them, to a lot of tech people. And so it's not a surprise. I think you're going to see a lot more of it going forward.
Is it political? I mean, they say it's not. The Benioffs say that they're not going to get involved in the editorial goings-on at Time magazine. Bezos has said he's not getting involved in the editorial goings-on at the Post. But in a way, when the idea of objective facts is under assault, Time magazine was based originally on this idea of, we're going to tell you what's important, we're going to tell you concisely, we're going to show you a picture of American life, of global life that maybe you haven't seen, we're going to give you a perspective.
Yeah, well, that was back in the last century.
Yeah.
Time has not been as relevant as it has, and it's had a long history of failing on the internet. I wrote 2 books about the problems of Time, and that People, Time, Sports Illustrated, these were all the major magazines of the time, and then they really missed almost every turn almost every turn they missed. It was really kind of fascinating to watch, starting with Pathfinder a long time ago and going forward. And so I think what's happened is it's a great brand still, and you got to figure out if you can make it relevant for this era, because there's been a lot of other media properties that have grown up since then. But you can revive it. Like the Post was not in as much trouble as Time is, I would say. But still, I think Jeff brought in technology, he brought in some money, he brought in an assurance of an owner that was going to leave the hands off and at the same time invest in it. Yeah, we were just having a discussion about valuation, because people say, compared to the Newsweek deal, he got played, some argue. Yeah. Others say The Economist went for $700 for a 50% stake. So, I mean, what is the value on these names? Why the disparity? And also, these people are so wealthy. These people are so enormously wealthy. It's not that big a rounding error for them. And I believe Time Inc. is profitable. They've got a very interesting conference business. They've got all kinds of interesting things. Now, each of the individual titles also have conference businesses and other ways to make revenue. And so I would think there's a lot you could do with the Time brand. There's a lot you could still do. And there's, you know, I was arguing with someone online last night about this. I'm like, you could do something with it. And, you know, and Marc, of course, has sort of, as you know, he's kind of puckish, and like he was sending me emojis all last night. I was exhausted by his. Was he getting a massage when he was sending you emojis? I hope not. He better not be. I told him if he was calling me today, and I'm like, do not be in a massage situation. It's a reference to the New York Times article. He's very, he's cucumbers on his eyes and all. You know, he has a Bitmoji character, and he had a picture of him on the Time cover, Bitmoji of the year and stuff. So he could be a really fun owner. He could be an interesting owner, and I could certainly think of much worse people who could have bought that. Well, I wanted to ask you, who are the other billionaires? Who's the next Bezos and Benioff? Because there's still some other properties like Sports Illustrated and Fortune that are out there. Well, those are a little harder because they have some revenue challenges, as Peter Kafka noted in one of his stories. The revenue challenges are some of them. I think probably Benioff probably looked at Fortune. That's what I understand, but a lot of people have looked at Fortune, and so I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen to those properties and where they're going. Chris Hughes tried with the New Republic. It seemed like there was an earlier wave that had this idea, well, we're going to try for niche stuff. Yeah. Maybe that costs a little less, or at least did at the time. Yeah. Have things turned toward now looking at these more storied brands that perhaps were seen as mustier and less favorable a decade ago? And you know, I like Chris, but he was super meddlesome, and that's a really, you know, that's a really in the editorial. That's a team that's rather someone that's hard to, you know, that's a difficult team to try to manage because it was sort of iconic and it's an unusual team. So he sort of went into it the wrong way. I think Bezos is kind of the map for how to do these kind of things, is that you can really have influence if you make investments, you stay in the background, but you're also present, and then you add where you can, such as in technology and other areas. But Marc's certainly smart about